All right, folks, I wanted to look at a way that might help you clean up your circuits a little bit as we move into higher fidelity prototypes. While the Circuit Playground is great for being able to let you quickly use alligator clips to connect to your breadboard, as soon as you have multiple alligator clips connected on the outside here, it makes this pretty big and unwieldy, right? Especially if you want to enclose that somehow. So I'm going to show you just one way that you might think about tightening that up. And it's pretty straightforward. You just need some M3, metric 3, 3 is the diameter, screws or bolts. And nuts to go with them. And the length of these is going to depend on what you're trying to connect with. But these ones are pretty short. I've got a ruler right here. I think they're like 6 millimeter long bolts. And so I'm going to basically just turn the pins I want to use on the outside of this into screw terminals by putting this bolt in there and attaching the nut to the other side. Okay, so now I've got a screw terminal on my A2 pin. Pretty nice. How do I work with that? Well, if I take one of my jumper wires and my wire strippers or any pair of pliers, I'm just going to bend this into a U kind of shape or a C shape. I could do this with solid core wire, or as you can see, I'm working with something I have here, the jumper. So just making a little hook there. And then I'm going to loosen this up a little bit. And hook this under the head of this screw. That way it's touching that copper pad on the CPE below. And I may have made this too tight, so I might have to adjust the shape of my C until it fits nicely under there. Okay. And then I'm going to hold that nut in place. I might have to use my pliers to hold that. And then depending on what kind of bolt you have, these use a hex wrench, but you can get Phillips or flathead ones too. I'm going to tighten that down. All right, and there we go. So now I've got a wire connected to my pad that I can plug into the breadboard, and that takes up much less space than these big alligator clips do. Okay, so that can help you keep this organized. Another thing that you can do in terms of the end that connects to the breadboard, even these stick out quite a bit, right? And if you're trying to encase your breadboard and the Circuit Playground in something, that can be problematic. You can bend these, and you might be able to do this by hand or with your pliers, at a 90-degree angle. So you're making kind of a staple jumper then, and you stick that in the breadboard, and now your wire will lay flat on there. So you can save a lot of vertical and horizontal space with this method of attachment using screws instead of the alligator clips, and by bending your leads here. Now, I will give you caution, you do not want to bend these back and forth a lot on either end, because solid core wire will eventually snap like a coat hanger if you bend it back and forth too much. But you can certainly bend it once or twice before it breaks. So there you go. One other thing I'll show you is this bit, and I'll put a link to this in the description for Thingiverse. But this is a different style of sort of case or protector for your Circuit Playground that you can 3D print, and it is designed for use with these screws and nuts. So there's holes in the back here where you pop the nuts in after you've printed this. This fits right on top there, and then you put the screws through. I've got the screws just holding them in place here without the CPE. But then it protects the edge and bottom of your CPE from accidental touches, and it gives you screw terminals for all the pins around there as well. And it's a kind of nice package. So that's not something you need, but it could be useful to you in thinking about how could you embed this into some other type of enclosure for your projects.